my channel. Hey yo, listen up, yeah. Hey yo, the wireless woman.
You in charge of the girls, right?
I am in charge of the girls.
Are you in charge of the girls?
I am in charge of the girls.
Okay.
All right, hey yo, Wi-Fi's. Welcome back to yet another underground transmission of the Wireless Woman. Go ahead and do me that big favor on your way in and like this video. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel. And click the bell for notifications of when I go live and when I upload new content. All right, so I have dedicated this channel to the liberation of Black women. However, I am starting to have following come over from TikTok, so I wanted to do some longer version videos about some of the concepts that I'm consistently getting questions about over there that the platform doesn't necessarily support the explanation of. And this is just a longer podcast platform that lends itself to that type of discussion. So I have been talking about fascism, and I gave the definition for fascism on my TikTok channel.
Fascism is the organization of a political class of the most respectful and respected people. The fascist parties include the majority of men who have achieved great business success, of politicians of upper chambers, professional men of the highest distinguished scholars, etc., the cream of the capitalist society. Fascism promotes the ideologies of racism, religion, and nationalism. Racism, religion, and nationalism, Oliver Cromwell Cox argues, are ideological mechanisms that prevent workers from developing political class consciousness. They bind workers to the capitalists of their own race, religion, or nation, and they incite evident oppositions to workers of other races, religions, or nations. There are no fascist capitalist classes, and only a proletarian revolution can destroy fascism. Fascism cannot be destroyed by war between capitalist nations. Fascism as a political class phenomenon can apparently be liquidated only by internal revolutionary action and the opposite political class.
And America is really poised to become a fascist nation. It has happened to all great civilizations at certain points in time. We talk about Mussolini in Italy, Stalin. Oddly enough, the Russian President Putin, he's a fascist leader. Um, we've seen it with Hitler. We've seen it with many charismatic characters who ended up taking what were progressive democratic governments and turning them into totalitarian states. Because a lot of people don't understand what fascism is, what it actually is defined as, because of the American propaganda monster. It's hard for people to have that concept. America is free, it's great, and this is true. However, you have to begin to understand that fascism is simply this rulership by the elite class. It's the establishment of something like an aristocracy. And we have that. We have that in America. We have elites. We have wealthy classes that make the decisions for us all. It's just that when it comes to the political processes of, electing congressmen and presidents, that's the part that makes us feel as though we are all equal. You know, my vote does actually equal Jeff Bezos' vote. They're the same. He gets one, I get one. And for that reason, there is the appearance of the imbalance of democracy and power and free will in this country. However, we know that when it comes to policy decisions. There are folks that lobby for certain things to be done certain ways. And if you have the money to make the political machine dance, monkey dance, well, then you can get certain things done that other people can march for, other people can petition for, other people can pray for. But baby, you got enough money in America can make it happen. Make it happen. Honestly, the only presidential candidates that I see who are capable of the type of popularity, charisma, and mercilessness that's needed to become a fascist leader are either Trump or DeSantis. Now, Trump, in and of himself, has already been shown to have the capability to be a fascist leader, to have people following him that dissent with him and disagree with him, but don't feel empowered to be able to affect certain changes when they're in his presence. It's something like the emperor's new clothes, being around a fascist leader. And as I said before, at some point in their history, every great civilization has fallen into the hands of some level of fascism. It could also be called nationalism, you know, patriotism. And some people's blind patriotism are going to cause them to go along with things that they know don't serve their best good, our national best good, and that do harm to other countries. America's allies are weakening. Our position in the world is weakening. And you hear people say things like, make America great again. You hear America be given this characterization like, she's a woman and a person with, this breathing, feeling, compassion for the world. And America is a machine like everyone else's country. We don't have the moral, financial, economic, political high ground that we used to think that we did. And the January 6th insurrection, as well as the manifesto. I mean, what is that? That has come out about Project 2025 lets us know that a move towards the direction of fascism and totalitarianism is in the Republican plan. It's it's a thing that they're beginning to say, the best interest of America can't be entrusted to Americans. Um, we're not educated enough, we're not skilled enough, we're not interested enough in running our own politics. And I don't care how you feel emotionally about that. Several of the moves of the Supreme Court, repealing Roe versus Wade and affirmative action, have been preparing the American public for fascism, because if we can't stop these things, if we continue on in life as if, these things happened but don't really have an effect on us, well, the powers that be begin to say, okay, this is where we are in history. You have to understand the people that run this country are great historians. And so they watch what has crumbled other empires, built empires. They watch the political machinations of many different regimes in order to decide what comes next in the cycle of America. You and I don't do that. You and I go to work. You and I try to pay our bills. You and I try to raise our kids. And so we're not complex historians and politicians and economists. Our country doesn't endow us to be those people, because uninformed, uneducated people are easier to persuade. So we have to begin to understand, when we see the writing on the wall, that our greatest ally to each other are going to be the informed, honest people that are next to us, people who actually have something to lose. We're increasingly being moved into groupthink. We were told all throughout the pandemic to trust the science, trust the science. Scientists don't even trust the science. It's kind of why it's called science. And now we're increasingly being told to trust our politicians. Um, that was a big move towards Joe Biden, even in the 2020 election. And I'm going to be honest, at this point, you trust no one. Okay? Trust if you must, but verify. Because this move towards fascism and totalitarianism isn't about being a Republican. It's about empowering either side blindly without understanding what their full agenda is. Because understand that fascism is built into NFL teams. There are some people that love their NFL teams even when they're trash. It's just about placing the national leaders, the religious leaders, political leaders, elites, celebrities, and what they say ahead of your own common sense. It's you versus the state, not your favorite team, not your favorite politician, not your favorite entertainer. It's you. It's confronting your cognitive dissonance and making sure that you're awake and aware when decisions are being made as to whether or not you internally agree with them or not. A lot of people are being brainwashed. They're being induced into the cult of personalities. So we have to be thinking for ourselves and our individual autonomy, our self efficacy. So, fascism is a real threat to America. And the January 6th insurrection showed us that. It showed us that there are people amongst us who would take power by force if they had to. And I have said it before and I'll say it again. I'm a fan of no man. So I'm not saying the things I say in support of one faction over another one because they're all capable of seizing power by force. Should they deem and determine that they're able to do so? In times of war, sitting presidents at times can't be deposed. So it don't matter who you vote in, Joe Biden or Donald Trump. You could end up sitting with somebody that you can't get out of office. You could end up dealing with, as we have been, policies that come down that you can't get returned back over. Roe versus Wade, even in the short time that it's been overturned, has caused a lot of bodily autonomy issues for women, and that can't be ignored. I mean, it's creating some issues for some men, let's be honest, who need these abortions to happen. But I'm saying all of these things to begin to have a thought process, have a discussion about the thought process around making sure that we're watching what's happening soberly. There were people that were in Nazi Germany as it was becoming Nazi Germany that knew something wasn't quite right. That knew that they were sitting next to people that were saying some real weird things. They had pledged their allegiance, their full faith and support to something. It wasn't quite right. So, because I'm talking to black women, if it don't jive with you, let it fly. But in the Bible, in James 1 and 15, it says, desire or temptation, once it's conceived, gives birth to sin. And sin, when it's full grown, gives birth to death. It's very difficult in the beginning, in the seed of a thing, to see its full potential. You can look at a lemon seed and not see a lemon tree. You can even look at a lemon tree, and until it bears the fruit of lemons, not fully be sure if the seed has done its work. Well, we're watching a tree that's budding with fruit, still not believing what we see, not believing our own eyes. And a lot of that is cognitive dissonance that's just been built down into the Black community and into the Black woman at the deepest level of deception. You have to understand that we're being told in this country. First of all, we know that being Black in this country is a permanent gaslight. You know, we go to jobs where we're being told that microaggressions aren't microaggressions. That's not what was said. That's just how you took it. So I believe that Black people, even more in some instances than people of other races and cultures, can be used as tools of fascism and totalitarianism. Like I said, it's already built into the way that we are socialized into this country. You know, you pulled over, what you do? You show your hands, you comply, you do what you're told, you survive the encounter because we are America's survivors. The opinion of who we are and who we will be in this movement is a certain thing. And we have shown before that we have the power to band together, work together, and create real change. And I think that our focus needs to be on getting the information, getting the resources that we need to be that impactful block and body of people who can inspire fear into the hearts of people that don't want change. All right, if you see what I see, if you feel as I feel,
But if you see what I see, if you feel as I feel, and if you would seek as I seek,
go ahead, drop that fire headphones emoji in the comments. I look forward to engaging with you there. But until the next transmission, go ahead and go out there.
Now, this is your place, but I am in charge of the girls. And you can just kiss my ass.